I'm thinking of ending my engagement because of my fiance's daughter and what she did. I am hysterical, and I am currently writing this on a phone, so I apologize in advance for any grammar mistakes I may have made. I met my fiance at a fast food court. I wasn't looking where I was going. He apparently wasn't either, and we bumped into each other, our food trays spilling into one another and the greasy, oily food seeping right into our clothes. I offered to buy him food. He offered to buy me food. One thing led to another, and we went on a date. Not the most romantic scenario, but it's how we met. I was smitten right from the start. He was handsome, funny, compassionate, romantic, clumsy, just an overall big giant teddy bear. He took an interest in all of my hobbies and tried to participate as much as possible. For example, I take and occasionally teach cooking classes regularly. He has attended many lessons with me, even though he is horrible at cooking. Now, my fiance is basically perfect. The only flaw, he has a 13-year-old daughter. Now, I love kids, and up to this point, I always thought kids loved me. But this kid is honestly the worst possible kitty I have ever encountered. When we first met, she openly commented on how ugly I was and she hated me and blah blah. I understood at first, even though I was hurt, but a new woman in your father's life. Intimidating, I get it. We will call her Bella. I was patient with her, allowed her to get away with a lot of stuff, which included hiding my personal belonging, insulting me any chance she could, locking me out of the house when it was raining. My fiance has scalded her over and over, but she never listens. She dats her eyes and cries to my fiance about how unfair it is, and he instantly melts. He is an amazing father, and they have a great bond. He has full-time custody, but her mother is still in the picture. She lives in a different state, so she only sees Bella 1 week at a time every 2 months, except holidays where Bella will stay. With her, for the entire month, I live for those times she is away. I was only with my fiance for 10 months before he popped the question. Bella was away during this time, but when she found out during our FaceTime call to her, she started crying and hung up. My fiance felt terrible, but he still managed to make it a romantic time until Bella came back. When I tell you, it felt like evil had entered the house. I felt shivers run down my spine. She never spoke a word to me unless it was to insult me, calling me a fat pig and saying how I would never look good in a wedding dress. I went into the bathroom and started crying. My fiance grounded her and consulted me. I thought we would eventually overcome this phase and try to get along. But no, things only got worse. One night, my fiance had to go away for the night for a work meeting. He asked if I could babysit. Though I was nervous, I agreed, as this might have been the moment Bella and I could bond. She asked if she could have friends over, and I let her. She said they wanted one of her friend's favorite foods, lasagna, for dinner. I spent all night in the kitchen making the lasagna for them from scratch. But when it was time for dinner, they all refused to eat it and said they wanted pizza instead. I bit my tongue and ordered Domino's for them. Waiting for the pizza, they spilled an entire bag of sugar on the floor, which I was originally going to use for my cooking class the next day. They put oil on the floor, so I ended up slipping over and cutting my hand in the process, and while cleaning the floor, they went through my phone and texted multiple people. I wasn't comfortable confronting them, as I had never disciplined Bella before, but I needed to put my food down and told them if they kept behaving like this, they wouldn't get any pizza. A clear bluff, but they all shared a look before sitting at the dining room table. I was a little relieved, but also still anxious, as I just wanted my fiance home. The doorbell rang. When I went to answer it, it was our neighbor who would come to check on things as per my fiance's request, as she is like family and has lived next to my fiance since he moved in when Bella was a baby. She is an older woman with grandchildren whom Bella hangs out with. She said hello, and I invited her in, but she said she was just checking in and seeing how I was going. I wanted to cry and vent to her, as I know she would put Bella under control, but I just told her things were fine. As we were chatting, the pizza had arrived. That was when I remembered the lasagna. I asked her if she wanted it, as I was a vegetarian and it would just go to waste. She scolded the girls, saying they should have eaten the lasagna and not have ordered pizza, but she happily took it as I paid for the pizza. The girls had finished their food and went to Bella's bedroom. I didn't hear from them until I realized they had gone to sleep. I too went straight to bed myself. The next day, my fiance fiance had returned home. I was so happy to see him, but when I came downstairs, Bella and her friends were talking to him and had tears in their eyes. They all claimed I didn't feed them, and they were hungry and how I was being mean the entire time. I was shocked. My fiance had a hard look on his face. He told the girls to go upstairs and he would call them down when food was ready. I didn't even get a chance to defend myself before he started yelling at me. I couldn't even remember what he was saying. He was just spouting hurtful things. I was crying by the end of it and he told me to get out. He needed time to think. I didn't hesitate to leave. I grabbed my bag and rushed out of there. I went to my best friend's house and stayed there while she comforted me. Hours later, I received a message from my fiance saying how sorry he was and that the neighbor had returned the dish from the lasagna, and she told him not only had I cooked, I had also ordered pizza. He wants me to come over so we can talk. I'm just so exhausted and drained. I don't even know if I want to continue this engagement. I love my fiance with all my heart, but I have a feeling things are only going to get worse with Bella. I believed her instantly. I'm afraid she will one day tell a bigger lie that could ruin everything. I just don't know what to do.